Hello, and welcome back to Animation. Today I'm going to be watching the second to last episode of Season 3, Part 2 of Attack on Titan. I'm a little sad because it's really closing in on the last part of the season. I don't know how long we're going to have to wait for the next season. And as far as I know, a new studio is going to be taking over. So that's kind of sad because you don't know if they're going to care about it as much as I feel the current studio has. I feel like they put a lot of time into it, a lot of energy, and I don't really understand why that someone else has to do it. But at the end of the day, the story is still the story. It doesn't matter who animates it. The voice actors should just all still be there, please, dear God. I wouldn't manage with a change. Well, obviously, if something does change, you'd have to manage, but if I don't have to, I wouldn't like to. Okay, so I'm gonna jump right into the episode. I hope you guys enjoy watching with me. Just remember that the comments are turned off. They have been turned off for quite a while because of just ridiculous spoilers and people arguing. Manga readers generally, sorry to point out manga readers specifically because it's not everyone, but there are some fervent manga fans and they argue from their perspective as manga readers. So they argue with my arguments, my theories, my feelings, and then they've spoiled a lot for me through arguing from their perspective as manga readers with the information they know that I don't. And eventually I just got really fed up with that, so that's why the comments have been turned off for I think the last 6-7 videos, I'm not sure, but here we go. Let's start watching. And then at the end, I do have a few thoughts and stuff I have to share from last week's episode and video. So let's go. I am watching on Crunchyroll, just by the way. I was panicking because something on Crunchyroll wasn't working, but it's better now. It looks like it's working. So let's go. I'm just wondering if this story is all written in the books that they received in the basement. So these aren't necessarily memories that just suddenly popped up for Eren. These are from the book. It's information given from those books, and maybe some of it he's remembering after reading, the stories and the information. He's reading the information and then he had a dream about all these people, and so maybe that's what, because I remember in the last episode I remember thinking like, why is this coming up for him now? And it's probably because it is being given to them through the pages of the books that they found. That's my best guess, right? So Eren was named after him? Wow. Oh, that's beautiful. So everything he did for the sake of Eldia, the Eldians. So he was like biding his time for the right moment, because if he acted too soon, maybe like he can't just act rashly and with no plan. Maybe he has a specific plan, right? Okay. Sorry, I'm repeating things for myself so that I remember. The royal family that stayed behind in this place, they formed a revolution, and his father was part of it.
幼かった俺はその様子を戸棚の隙間から見ていることしかできなかった。今日まで正体を暴かれることはなかった。俺は未だあの時のまま。教えてくれ、フクロウ。俺に残された任務とは何だ。これから壁内に潜入し、始祖の巨人を奪還しろ。巨人化したお前に食われる。同じようにして始祖の巨人を持ち主から奪え。
Why does he want him to do it though? Why did he never do this himself? That's the first thought I have. The second thought is, I'm really sad because now it feels like Grisha did everything he did. Like he married Carla, Aaron's mom, and everything was all fake. It doesn't feel so nice. That's a pretty lame way to put it, but it feels like a cheat. Like it feels like Aaron wasn't loved as a firstborn son, and she wasn't loved as your first wife. Like all that I felt towards. Yeah, why aren't you doing it?
9つの巨人の力を継承した者は13
Oh. No! Oh, Aaron's gonna die. Everyone's gonna die. Who else is... Oh, no. So, well, I knew from the beginning that Aaron was never gonna have a happy ending. 13 years, that's all you have to live? Oh, fuck. That sucks.
俺が継承したのも13年前になる。
フクロウはそれをユミルの呪いと言っていた。残り8年。もうないな。
違う。これは何かの間違ってる。
Well, it could kind of be like, you know how when you get certain illnesses, 20 years ago, let's say 100 years ago, a certain illness came about, and people that had that illness were only expected to live about 5 years max. But as technology and stuff and information and knowledge expanded and grew more, people that illnesses that used to be fatal 100 years ago it's something to be laughed at today. Like there's been things discovered to heal and to work with whatever was wrong with your body. So it could be that, and this is just my hopeful side, I still don't think Attack on Titan and Eren and them are going to have a happy ending. I don't think this is that kind of story. But I'm just saying that there is a possibility that it could be like an illness to your body, and just because they haven't found a cure for it yet doesn't mean that there won't be a cure for it in the future, you know? Something like that. That is considering it is scientific in the body. Like it's something that can be, you know, changed and scienced with, and not just magic, you know, the curse of Ymir, 13 years to live, you know, like with like you understand what I'm saying, science versus magic. Like a magic is just a story where you don't understand it yet, so it seems out of your control, whereas science, you understand it now and you can take it into your control and you can control it through like your understanding. So I'm just wondering if this is magic that can become understood and they can science it out, or is it how some stories just use magic as a it's magic. We shouldn't expect there to ever be a cure. It's like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like let's say in Sleeping Beauty, there are fairies. They don't ever give a reason for why there are fairies. They're just fairies, and fairies can do magic. You don't ever have to ask why. It's just that's the way it is. I wonder if this is the kind of story that's going to, is magic accepted, 13 years to live, done and dusted, or could it be that this is a magic that they don't even understand, so technically they can figure it out with science? I wonder.
巨人を宿す者が力を継承させることなく死んだ。
Then
巨人の力はそれ以降に誕生するユミルの皆一様に見えない何かでつながっている。
collective unconscious.
ある継承者は道を見たと言った。そしてその道は全て一つの座標で交わる。つまりそれが始祖の巨人だ。
マーレ政権下では悪魔の使い、エルディア帝国の時代では神がもたらした奇跡、有機生物の起源と接触した少女。
Source.
唱える者もいる。誰だって神でも悪魔にでもなれる。誰かがそれを真実だと言えばな。
Oh my god, this is fucking guys. This is life. This shit is true. This is the Bible. Like, I'm not talking, you know what the concept of the Bible is? The truth, the way, the what, you know what the Christian Bible, you know what it's supposed to be? It's not. But this, if there is a Bible, this is it. That Bible is just it because people believe it is. But this is the real Bible here. And I'm not even joking, I'm fucking not kidding with you. Source, that is God. Collective consciousness. All it takes is for people to believe it. Write that down.
ダイナは王家の血を引くものだと言ったのもあんただ。王家の血を引くものだからだ。敵の手に渡すべきではなかった。ジークがマーレに全てを話す前に、ここから生きて壁までたどり着けるのは、巨人の力を宿した者ただ一人だけ。正直に言って、俺は何も分かっていなかった。これが自由の代償だと分かっていたなら、払わなかった。エルディアに自由と尊厳を取り戻すために、立て。俺はもう見られない、立てない、戦えない、弾もないか、マーレに強制されたか。俺に憎しみを思い出させようとして。
He literally just lost his wife, like give him a second to grieve.
でも無駄だ。あの日お前が妹を連れて壁の外に出ていなければ、いずれ父親の診療所を継ぎ、大人になった妹は結婚し、お前は妹を連れて壁の外に出た日から、その行いが報われる日まで進み続けるんだ。これはお前が始めた物語だろう。9つの巨人にはそれぞれ名前がある。これからお前へ継承される巨人にもだ。戦った。
For the sake of freedom.
名は
進撃の巨人。
Oh my god, there's like permanent goosebumps on my body. Information available for public disclosure. The true identity of intelligent titans stemming from a power exceeding human comprehension that sleeps in the subjects of Ymir. Said power is inherited along with memories through paths which transcend space and time. The coordinate where all paths intersect is the founding titan. So the founding titan and the founding titan power, which can only be activated or used properly through someone with royal blood like Historia / Krista. So Eren's dad inherited the Titan power from this Eren Kruger. That's a surname very common here. Krier, it's pronounced Krier though, not Kruger. In my language, in Afrikaans. In English, it's still pronounced Kruger, of course. It's anyway. So then he gave Eren's dad the power so that he could infiltrate and get the founding Titans' power, because the founding Titans, they basically ran away and lived inside the walls. To what? Because they thought humanity was too awful. They didn't want to fight anymore, so they just wanted to protect their own. And those that didn't come with them, like, I don't know, not exactly sure why they ran away yet. And then Eren's dad went and he took the founding Titans' power And now he has both, and then he gave both to Eren, right? So now Eren has both the Founding Titan and the Attack Titan's power. So essentially, this woman, Ymir, the one who had the power initially, she's basically Jesus. Like what Christians believe Jesus is, the Son of God, she's basically that, because she came into contact with Source, which is God, and she gained this power. And it could be that the power, you know how people like sometimes they meditate and they go into this trance and then they come back with this knowledge and then they're different people because of, you know, they've come into, that's a stupid way of putting it, but it's like something like that happened to her. Something like that. But it depends who's telling the story, you know? So Eldians say she came into contact with Source, and Marlians say, oh, she came into contact with a devil. So God, devil, it depends what side are you on, you know? So for me, or for a Christian, anyone that speaks about other gods, that's blasphemy, because from their perspective, talking about other gods being God is blasphemous. But for someone that believes in another god, talking about Jesus and like that's blasphemy. Like it depends on what side you're on, right? So in my mind right now, this is because I was raised Christian. I don't identify as a Christian anymore, but I'm just saying that's the only way for me, because I was raised with these concepts. In my mind, it makes sense that Ymir is someone who came into contact with Source, with God, and she's now technically like Jesus. So she's the closest thing that like, because they always called God, Jesus, God's son, but aren't we all God's children? So she's basically like Jesus, the closest thing to God's real child, but not really, because I'm just doing this because she's just someone who understands Source more than anyone else has ever understood Source. So she's able, because of that belief, she's able to do things that normal people that haven't come into contact with Source like that aren't able to do, because we don't believe in it. But through her belief, she almost imparted her beliefs onto others, just like we get taught to believe in, to be Christians, to be this, to be that, and then you're raised with those beliefs, and that's how you make sense of your world. And it often determines, you know, what you do too, and what you're able to do. Like people sometimes, a lot of people, like, they're able to do the things they do in life because they say it's through their God, but people are able to do different things even if they don't believe in God. If they do, it all depends on what you hold on to push you forward. And like it says, your beliefs shape your reality. That's kind of what Eren Kruger said. And it's just like, she came into contact with Source, so what she believed possible and what she did was I don't know how to put all this. It makes sense in my mind, but I wish I could impart that. But that's why the story is so powerful. I think the writer of Attack on Titan, he is so genius, because he imparted this knowledge, this universal truth. Even though there is like no one truth, but he imparted this amazing, this makes sense to me through stuff that I've read, and through what I've chosen to believe. All of this makes sense to me, because everyone chooses to believe in something, right? Everyone, like, if you believe in Christ or whatever religion, the only thing that differs for me is that I know that whatever you choose to believe is going to make it true. Whether you believe in God, or you Christ, or you believe in Buddha, or you believe in whatever. And this is just, it's that story kind of, but it's shown through these amazing characters, and it's just wow.
進撃の巨人ってやってたよね今。やってたよね。ほら今のは何だって思う。い
え別に。
君の巨人の名前でしょ。なんで誰もいないのに一人で喋っていたの
？10日分の罰なら今ハンジが。
ザックレ総統には掛け合ってるから安心してよ。鎧と超大型を地に伏せた英雄を牢に加えて、君たちが逆らった上官は鎧と獣を取り逃がしたノロマと来ている。
そんなことは少し痩せたか。飯は十分食えたのに。 何をするんです？
謁見だ。女王陛下がトロスト区にお越しだ。
悪趣味な野郎だ。絶対にモテない。だがお前にこの手紙を届けると約束してくれた。あの時はすまない。まさか私がお前よりこいつらを選んでしまうなんて。まだお前と結婚できてないことだ。ユミルより。
その道は全て一つの座標で交わる。
何今のは。これで全部ですか？
もちろん私たちの有益な情報を書いたりはできなかったんだけど。
でも多分そんなことはしてないと思う。バカだな、ユミルって。これじゃわかんないよ。
連れてきた。
入れ。
本当にいろいろあったね。私は壁の真ん中で南の空を見てただけ。
Oh, my 3 children!
誰も実感できてないだけだな。
そろそろ行こうか。
Fucking 15. Aaron is fucking 15. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. It's too young, God.
これは彼ら調査兵団9名とここにはいない199名の戦果だ。調査兵団団長ハンジゾエ。
は。我々調査兵団はエルヴィン・スミスを含めですが、我々壁内人類は未だ極めて危険な状態にあります。敵が巨人という化け物だけであればどんなに良かったことでしょうか。手記によれば我々は巨人になれる特殊な人種ユミルの民であり、再び世界を支配する。
Are they? So they're all technically related. Just like technically we're all related because we're, according to Christians, we're all from Adam and Eve. So technically we're all related. Is that kind of what we're getting at here?
可能性がある。
始祖の巨人がマーレの手に落ちればエルディア人は終わりだ。
そんなこと壁の王が許すわけない。
エルディアが再び罪を犯すというのなら、
If once again Eldia is driven to sin, we will perish as it's meant to be.
我々は滅ぶべくして滅ぶ。我は始祖の巨人と不戦のちぎりを交わした。
壁の巨人が世界を平らにならすとも言い残したのではないのか。
その言葉が抑止力になる間に壁の王は民から記憶を奪い、壁外の人類は滅んだと思い込ませた。無垢の民に囲まれ、必ず見つけ出して臆した王から始祖の巨人を取り上げろ。それが俺たちの使命だ。
So it's like he gave up on, because sometimes when things get so bad that there's a war, like people often, a war breaks out because of that cycle of hate and hate and hate. Like there's bad people on both sides, but then one side does something wrong and the other side retaliates, and then that side, and then some innocent people get hurt, and then their hate builds and they attack that side, and that's how the cycle like continues, and eventually a war breaks out. But there are good people on both sides that both know like they actually just want peace, and it's possible for both sides to live together in peace. But now what happened was, like, when things get so bad that a war breaks loose, the only way to get to peace is to, like, well, not the only way, but often the only way is, or the easiest way is to fight through the war and then start from scratch and try and build a new world where everyone can. That's kind of what the story of Noah's Ark, like, scratch everything, fucking kill everyone, let's start over, because there's too much fighting, too much this, too much that, too much sin. And so what this king did, he said, no, we're gonna fuck off, we're gonna stop fighting, there's no making peace with these people. So I don't know, why did he leave people behind? I don't know, maybe those were the people that believe that they shouldn't close themselves off from the world, they should find a way to, I don't know, fight it out and find peace, to live together. But now this one king is like, nope, we're going, And it's like he took all their memories away and was like, so that he can control them, so that they can just live in peace inside the walls. But that didn't fucking work, because there was a class system, and the people that were poor forever. Like that's not freedom. That wasn't freedom. He didn't. So, and then he dreamed about this, oh, paradise, heaven, da 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 da. But that shit's not gonna just be delivered to you. You have to make it happen. Is it possible though? That's the problem. Is it possible? Is a world where everyone lives in harmony actually possible? And that's probably what the Marlians believe. They believe it's possible, but not with the Titans, because and so they want to kill all the Titans so the rest of them could live in peace. But fuck that shit. Like, there's not just that's the thing. This is painting it like there's two sides, but in the real world there's 1,000 sides. There's women against men, black against white, Christian against Muslim, this against that, conservative against a non-conservative. I don't even know what conservative means. That's a word that I've learned from US politics. Far left against far right. This against fucking that. There's so many fucking sides. You fucking kill all far left people. I don't even know what that means. Kill all far right. I'm just saying words now that I don't even, like, if you kill all Christians, for example, let's put it that way before someone calls me far left or far right again for saying something. If you kill all Christians, and because Christians and, let's say Christians and like the two biggest religions fight, and then you kill all Christians because without them, or like they're trying to kill them, because then we can live in peace because they're the ones that are making the fight, then we only have these kinds of religion people left. So because all the Christians are now dead. But then I promise you they will find a reason to fight, because it's in our fucking nature to separate ourselves and to identify ourselves, and identifying is fine, but then you start othering the people that don't identify as you, and it's going to keep doing that. It's going to keep doing that. It's going to keep doing that, and they're going to fight, and they're going to, these sides are going to kill this side, and then they're going to eventually, 10 years of peace, but then they're going to split, and they're going to fight because I eat broccoli, you don't eat broccoli, you're evil, now we're going to kill you, and then eventually humanity is just going to die out because we can't fucking get along. That's the freaking problem.
始祖の巨人は息子エレンに託されました。その者が始祖の巨人を宿しても壁の王の思想にとらわれ、おそらくそれが
The vow renouncing war, okay.
しかしながら過去にエレンは無垢の巨人を操り、その力を使える可能性があるのかもしれません。
そうだ、あの時は一瞬だけ全てがつながった気がした。
私はダイナ・フリッツと申します。王家の血を引く者です。
まさか
What?
続けたまえ、我らの巨人よ。
What?
なんでも
No!
なるほど、そっか。なんでも彼は今そういう時期にあるようでして。
それは気の毒に。
What?
年頃だしな。
What? What age?
あのことは二人にも話していない。
What?
兵団はヒストリアをどうする？
何を言ってる？俺にはダイナがいる。それにそんなことを言われても巨人になる直前の記憶はなくなるんだろう。
妻でも子供でも町の人でもいい。壁の中で人を愛せ。同じ過ちを。
I don't understand. I don't understand this. After you enter the walls, build a family. Won't I forget the things you tell me just before I become a Titan anyway? And that's not always the case, and someone may see it later. See what?
妻でも子供でもそれができなければ繰り返すだけだ。同じ歴史をミカサやアルミン。みんなを救いたいなら使命を全うしろ。
ミカサ、アルミン。
わからない。誰の記憶だろう。
Could it be that the collective consciousness that they're all attached to, the paths all meet in one place, the coordinate found in Titan, which was the Ymir started it all and connected to Source. So it's like it spans through all of them, but it doesn't just connect people. Like, it's not just that people now are connected is that people they're connected to their past, they're connected to the people in the future, everything. And isn't that true that source, whatever God is, it transcends space and time. So to me that makes perfect sense. They believed freedom would come if they fought. Like, I think that an important lesson that may come into play later is you can't, like, fighting for freedom, war, that's not the answer. But neither is running away. Like, that's not the answer either. You have to find a way before war. And without running away, there has to be an answer. There has to be a way to live freely. To live, you know what I'm saying? This is Aaron and that Archie dude that I don't like. I don't know why I don't like you. And this is Jean. No, it can't be Jean because his arm was broken and now it's fine. But who's this thing? Maybe his arm's better. What runs through their minds now, knowing the truth of humanity? Oh, that was beautiful visuals. So pretty. The other side of the wall. Interesting. Absolutely brilliant episode. I already said most of the things that were in my mind as the episode went on, because otherwise I would have forgotten everything. So I'm glad that I paused and I talked about it. The one thing that I wanted to say before I end the video was something from last week's video. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who reached out to me and just share, you know, your thoughts on the thoughts I shared. I wanted to say thanks to a lot of people who shared their own experiences from both sides. That was really touching. For the most part, the feedback from that video was really positive. People either reached out to me to share, you know, good thoughts, positive vibes. People that told me I don't know how to put that, but you know, people that say that they're glad they're learning more about the rest of the world and the situations that the rest of the world is in, and they're glad to see it from someone else's perspective and that kind of stuff. And then there were messages from people who said in their country, like someone messaged me on Discord and told me that, and I'm not going to mention any names, I'm just going to try and remember like more or less what they said. Like, they've been through the same thing and they fled from their country to the US, and they're now making a life for themselves there. And they so many people, either, you know, people just reaching out to me and telling me they're sorry that things in South Africa aren't going so great, or people that have been through the same things in other countries have been reaching out to me. And then there was even someone who reached out to me and said that, you know, their parents taught them to hate, you know, white people, and they've had to, like, carried that anger with them for so long until later in their life they learned that it's not about your skin color. We're not just, you know, black or white or whatever color. We're the specific words that they used was we're the human race, you know. It doesn't matter what race is, white, black, whatever. It's we're all one people. We're just people at the end of the day, and that was amazing to hear from, you know, someone actually listened to me and could say to me, I was one of those people that looked at, because like I explained, in South Africa often we are taught that the people that came before us, they implemented apartheid, so now we're the ones paying for their sins. And this was what apartheid ended in 1993, 1994, around there, and it hasn't been, how do I put this? It's not like things have just flipped around to the other side. It's just this subconscious thing that I've been taught. Like, it's been taught from a specific perspective, and that's like, you know how people talk about white guilt? Like, it's basically that. It's been kind of imparted onto us. So either you're still angry at what's happening now. So a lot of people are angry, or they're feeling guilty. It feels like it's always one or the other, and it's just like that cycle of pain and anger that I was talking about, and that this anime teaches us. Like, the one side hurts the other side, and then they get angry and they retaliate, and then innocent people there get hurt, and then they build this anger, and it just goes like this all the time, and the one blames the other, and it's just always this blame game. And what I was trying to say, I was talking a lot in my last video and explaining like my feelings on the situation in South Africa and what's happening here right now, because there is a lot happening. It's like not easy to pinpoint like one issue or anything, and it rarely is. That's really, you can't just pinpoint one issue. There's never just one issue. It stems from both sides. It's just that. So anyway, so what I was trying to say in the last video was that the dangers of labeling, the dangers of seeing any race as evil, or as like everyone, like how in South Africa, I've told you, like it's often the perception that we're taught because we're white, you know, we did these bad things as if we did it, which we didn't, and then now they're paying for things that happened hundreds of years ago. And what I was specifically thinking about at that time in the video, was the farm murders that are currently happening in South Africa. And one person, I wanted to make a point of thanking the people who reached out to me and shared their understanding of what I said. But now I also want to talk about the one or two people. There were just like one or two that, obviously maybe there were more, but there were two people, and one specifically that actually, you know, went out of their way to come onto my Discord and like call me out in public in front of everyone or whatever. And he called me like a white supremacist and stuff, like as if I was saying that like there's white genocide in South Africa or whatever. Like I don't know where does he get white supremacist from? Like from my last video, where did I specifically was talking about the opposite. I was talking about the dangers of seeing one race as either, you know, completely good or completely bad. I specifically mentioned don't put anyone on a pedestal, don't put anyone in a pit. Like labeling people like either good or bad is it's dangerous. And it's then Spencer actually messaged or tweeted a picture of Armin from season 1. I think it was season 1, when he and Annie were talking before we found out Annie was the female Titan. And I think Armin said something along the lines of, when I edit this video, I'll try and put the pictures here. And he said something like, I don't know what a good person is. I don't think we can't just label someone as good or bad. Like he talked about labels and how dangerous it is, and it was exactly what I said last time. So I don't know where that person got into calling me a fucking white supremacist, because it was the opposite of what I was saying. I was literally saying you can't label someone as holy, you can't label someone as a devil, because actually we're all just fucking human beings. We have people that do good things and people that do bad things, but no one is essentially a good or bad person. Like you aren't born good, like evil or royal in a sense. Like just because someone has royal blood doesn't mean they're going to be a good person. Just because someone is born a certain skin color doesn't mean they're going to be a bad person. We're shaped by our experiences, right? And now what we're taught and our beliefs and all those kinds of things. And that was my whole point. You're not supposed to make one side good and the other side bad. And there is definitely a lot of farm murders going on in South Africa. That is an undeniable fact. It is not, however, white like genocide, because the people that are killing white farmers because they're owning land that apparently belonged to their ancestors hundreds of years ago, even though the people that currently own the land own it legally and have bought it from people who have bought it from people who have bought it from people, all legally. Like there's how do I put this? there's political parties, racist political parties that do believe, like if you look at Malema and the EFF, like they're racist and they're singing like kill the white farmer, kill white people essentially. But it's not a white genocide because it's not because of their skin color that they're killing white people. It's because, the white people that own the farms, they want to kill them because that's their way of showing, that's their way of finding justice for stuff that happened hundreds of years ago. So they're punishing people now in a much worse way than like me just being taught like white guilt, whatever. In a much worse way, they're punishing these people. But listen closely, this is why I'm saying it's not white genocide, is because they're not just killing the white farmers, they're also killing, the people that work for them on the farms, the people that support them, any person with black skin or mixed race, any person that even says, but actually this guy is doing, like, the farmers are working really hard, they've been taking care of our country, they feed the people essentially, and just they aren't just white farmers, let's just put it that, but it is them being killed, but not only them, it's also those people that work on their farms for supporting them. So my point is just that these people doing bad things and killing white farmers, maybe black people, not all of them black, it's not even their skin color, it's generally it's cultural. Like there are like lots of different cultures. There's Zulu, Xhosa, lots of different cultures in South Africa. So some people, I don't even want to label them as a color or a culture. They're killing, yes, white farmers, but also the people that work there. Farm managers, because remember, the farmer lives on the farm and he has people like managers and financial advisors, like anyone that's found on that farm that supports that. Like, it doesn't matter your skin colors. These people are killing other people because why? Because that's their form of justice. Like, well, and the problem with all of this is, and I'm sorry that I'm talking so. I didn't write this down. I didn't plan this. I should have, because I think I could do it more politically correct. I could use terms and things that aren't offensive or aren't negatively charged with negative emotion. I know I could do this better, but at the end of the day, maybe sometimes it's not that good to be politically correct all the time. Maybe sometimes you just need to be frank and honest about it and see, if people understand you or not, and then you talk about it and learn from that and learn better ways to talk, or maybe people are trying to be too nervous about it and then the true message isn't coming through. So in this way, I'm just trying to be as honest as I can, and I know that most people didn't. Most of you understood what I said in the last video and understood where I was coming from. I was basically trying to point out that this anime is teaching us, you shouldn't, like, this cycle of hate, it should be put to an end. You shouldn't label people because of their skin color or race or religion or whatever. You shouldn't label them as something and then just look down on them and try and fucking kill them. I'm trying to explain a little bit of the situation in South Africa, because there was like one or two people who actually, whatever I said, I don't know how that went totally over their head, and suddenly they called me a white supremacist for pushing a certain narrative. I'm far left or far right. I don't know what the fuck they called me. I don't even know what these words mean. All I was trying to say is that there are certain political parties, and it has nothing to do with their skin color. It has to do with their beliefs. Their beliefs that I don't even know. It's like they want more. It's like they're blaming their incompetence on things that happened hundreds of years ago. Apartheid was more recent, obviously, but that was caused by hundreds of years ago, and we're all just trying our best. The average South African, regardless of skin color, we're just trying our best to get by and do the best with what we can and help our fellow neighbor. Like, I live next to a black family. A black family lives there. No one lives here. I'm not sure who lives on the side. We live like the average person. We all live together. We all get along. We all have arguments. We all, we're just people. But the problem is these are the extremists. You know, the problem in South Africa is the people in power. It's like you guys can read about South Africa. You can. There's so much corruption going on. It's because they're using, you know, stuff that happened hundreds of years ago to kind of fuel hate between races. Because if we stood together, we would realize, like, they're using us and our argumenting against each other, like black versus white, this versus that, to deflect or to pull our attention away from them. And they're the ones that actually are, you know, they're stealing thousands and thousands and thousands of rands, money, and using it in all the wrong ways. Like, you know, the amount of money they steal. Like, I think South Africa could actually have free education. Like, there's so many people in South Africa that can't be educated because they're using the money. Like, if you look at our past president, he stole so much money from the government or from the people, and he built like his own little city, and he had like 6, I don't even know how many wives and all his children, and there's so much corruption going on, and the reason why they keep pushing this racist narrative, because the average South African, we get along fine. But they're pushing this racist narrative so that the masses, the poor masses, people in poverty, people from low education, they're the ones that are being tricked by this racist narrative that, God, I wish I could speak smarter. Because if we keep arguing amongst each other and we keep being fooled and think we're the ones fighting, we don't see them fucking up their jobs, stealing money from the country. You know, they're saying, like, we're the ones that started all of this. We're the reason South Africa isn't moving forward because we did this and this and this and that and that and that. Like, they're pointing all these fingers at things that happened hundreds of years ago. The people in power, they're doing this. But then they're doing things like perpetuating poverty in South Africa. For example, they say, like, when certain people of certain colors have children, they will give you, let's say, $50 to help you with, I don't know. But now imagine having a kid, you get $50 once off. I'm speaking under correction. It's not I don't know if it's $50, but it's some ridiculous amount. And it's like a once off thing. And now poor people, they end up having more children because they want that $50. But you can't raise a child with $50. Like, even if, I don't know if it's a once off fee or if it's a monthly fee, but you can't raise a child with an extra $50 a month, because you need more food, you need clothes, you need school fees. Like, so they're perpetuating poverty because people are having more children for that extra $50 a month. But you can't really pull yourself out of poverty that way. So they're perpetuating it, and then they're blaming another race of people for what happened years ago. So they're blaming their own mistakes on other people, but it's fine for them, because if we're fighting amongst each other, they can keep corrupting, they can keep, you know, doing all kinds of bullshit, and essentially they're putting the average person, the average South African, against each other, when really our fight isn't with each other. Our fight is with the people in power that are using, like, power has corrupted them, and their care is not about the country and about the people flourishing and doing and having enough to eat and getting a good education. Their main concern is just with them, with themselves. And this has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with power that has corrupted them. And they're putting everyone is suffering, not one race or another race. We're all suffering because we're all fighting. We're all being blamed and blaming others, and because of them. And the reason I'm talking about all of this is because this is what this anime is warning us against. It's warning us against hate and imparting our beliefs onto our children, and power, and it's a very important message, and it can help us if we learn from it. But instead of learning from it, what people are doing apparently is they're saying it's like Nazi propaganda and stuff, when it's like it's the opposite of that. It's the opposite. It's teaching us what not to do. Like, it's insane how powerful this message is. And this was the first episode where I realized it's not only teaching us like how dangerous hate is, and that how dangerous it can be if we use it for the wrong reasons. Like, I understand anger can be used in a like, I'm one of those people, I would rather get angry than sad, because if I'm angry, I'm in a position of power. I have an energy to strive forward with. Whereas when I'm sad, I feel hopeless and I can't do anything. And I get, like, if you fall into that trap, you can get like depressed, and you can like, it really pulls you down. So I prefer to get angry over sad, because at least with anger I can do something. But it all depends, like, how you direct that energy, because it's a negative energy. But it doesn't have to be negative. That's what I'm trying to say. But it's an energy that you can use in a negative or a positive way. But that energy exists. And this is the first time that I've realized, like, it's not only showing us that how hate and stuff, it can end up with, it depends, like, it's so dangerous. So you have to watch out for it. You have to be aware. You have to understand. You can't be ignorant, like the people behind the walls were ignorant. It's a big warning. It's very smart, this anime. Like, that's downplaying it, but wow. But not only that, this episode was the first one where I realized it's not just teaching us that. It's also it's a spiritual lesson. Like what that guy said. Remember in the reaction when I told you guys, that is the truth. That is the Bible. Like, you know what people think is the Bible? It's one truth. If you believe in that truth, it can be your truth. But whatever you believe can be the truth. Like, whatever religion you are, that can be your truth. The danger comes in when you think your truth is the right truth, and that's the only truth. And anyone that doesn't believe in your truth, they're evil and they should be eradicated. And that's dangerous, because you label us and them, and it's very dangerous. Okay, I'm sorry that I digress a lot, but that is what this anime is to me. It's so much more than just an anime. And those that don't want to listen, I should stop apologizing, because those that don't want to listen, they can click out. They can watch the reaction and leave. But this is such an important message, and I do want to talk about that. And I just want people to understand that there is a lot of shit going on in South Africa right now, and a lot of it is due to the stuff that's happening in this anime. Hate from one side, hate from the other side. Kind of like one infecting the other, and then people in power, like, it's such a, like, what do they say? Art imitates life. Life imitates art. I don't know which one. But it's so reflective of a lot of what's going on in South Africa right now. And I don't think any of you really saw me as, because that was the opposite of what I was doing. I wasn't pinning it to one side or the other. But since there was one person who for some reason thought I was, I don't know, far right or far left, I don't know which side he thought I was on. I'm not far anything. That is exactly the opposite of what I tried to tell you guys in the last episode. There isn't a that and a that. It's fun to label ourselves. It's fun to identify as something. I am an otaku. I am a girl. I am an artist. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful part of life to be able to identify as something. But my point was, it's dangerous when you other. When you identify and you identify them, and then it's like, they're bad and I'm good. They're this and that. Like, it's also almost natural, because let's say your mother gets attacked and killed by I talked about this before as well. Your mother gets attacked by someone of a different religion than you. Let's say you're a Muslim and your mother gets attacked and killed by a man, and the article reads, Christian man kills da 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 da. So your brain, the first thing your brain does is it attaches to whatever is different about that man. You say it's because he's Christian that he did it, or whatever. You immediately you other, and you think it's that. And that's what we do. We use other things to make someone you dehumanize them. They're not a human that did something bad anymore. You dehumanize them. They're like it's an evil person, and they're evil because da 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 da. There are people that choose to be evil for whatever reasons. Like, let's say Reiner and them, they're extremist Marlians, whatever. They were taught to believe this and this and this, and that's why they killed thousands of people. And it's not because, like, you can't just now go and kill all Marlians because Reiner was a Marlian who killed all, like, he did something bad, but that doesn't mean all people with that label is bad. But it's easier to make it in your mind like, he's bad, he's Marlian, all Marlians are bad. Do you understand what I'm trying to get at? It's almost natural, because especially when you're grieving. Let's talk about Tokyo Ghoul again. Like, some ghouls are bad and they eat people and they kill innocent people, and then also click out if you haven't watched Tokyo Ghoul, or skip ahead a bit. Then the human side, they get mad, and they don't get mad at that ghoul that killed their sister, brother, mother, father, whatever. They get mad at ghouls. And then all ghouls are suddenly evil, and now they go kill ghouls, but now they kill innocent ghouls. And then other ghouls that are also, they didn't do anything, they get mad because humans are killing our people. Why? They didn't do anything. They were innocent. Now we retaliate. And that's how things get started, and that's what this anime is warning us against in so many different ways. It's teaching us so much. And I hope that the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people that for some reason this what I was saying got mixed up for you, and you saw me as far left or far right, I hope that you understand that that's the opposite of what I was saying. And I hope the rest of you understand that, yes, things in South Africa right now are difficult, and it's not because we're white and they're black. It's not that. It's not. It's because there are people in power and they're misusing their power. And they are, playing us up against each other. But the average South African, we're just trying our best to get by, no matter our race. It's certain political parties that use race as a tool to pit us against each other. And it doesn't have to be that way. And if you want more information on this, I'll try and share a couple of videos I'll try and share a couple of videos in the description. But it's really hard. It's really hard to get any kind of form of media that doesn't choose one side, because I don't want to put information out there that makes it seem like I'm choosing one side. Because it's dangerous to choose one side. Because both sides will have people in it that are bad. Both sides will have people in it that are good. So yeah, I just hope that you guys understand everything that I've been trying to say. I know that I'm not the smartest person. I don't know all the facts. I can just tell you from personal experience what I've been through and what I've noticed. And what I've noticed is that, you know, I don't have a lot of friends, period. But in high school, I went to a mixed race school, mixed language, Afrikaans, English, black, white, mixed race, whatever, Indian. I know people. My mom has so many friends. My mom has a lot of friends. She has black friends. She has Indian friends. She has white friends. We're the average people here. We get along, but it's extremists that are teaching us, and like the people in power, the people who get to choose what we learn, the people who get to choose what we see on TV. They're the ones using like these certain things, like telling uneducated people the reason they're uneducated is because of those people. And like I explained last time, when I was in high school, history books told me like it was white people, and it was we should pay for our like sins, and we should feel ashamed, and it's just like what's happening in this story, you know. It's kind of like, you know how their history books show just a certain side, just a certain story. They chose what they read, they chose what they know. It happens. It really, this is not just an anime. This is art imitating life. And I have to just commend Isayama. I hope I'm saying her name right. Let me just Google it quickly. The writer of Attack on Titan. Hajime Isayama. I have to really commend him for being able to put into words and characters and art things that we all should know. We all should know not to. He's putting lessons in art to teach us, but we all should know these things. We all should be teaching it to each other. We shouldn't think, it shouldn't be so hard not to demonize people, you know, just for being a different religion or whatever. But I really commend him for being able to teach us through his art in such an amazing way, with such an amazing story. And yeah, I hope that he doesn't feel bad for the people that are calling his work pro-Nazi propaganda. I don't know, because it's not. It's like that person calling me fucking white supremacist when that's the opposite of what I was saying. People, sometimes they just want to fight. And a good example, and I'm talking so much now, but you know, whatever. A good example is a person, he has a YouTube channel, he does reactions to One Punch Man. Let me just quickly find his channel. It's on a different topic. Well, not really, it's about racism. There we go. His name is Heavenly Controller. It's his YouTube channel. So here we go. You guys can go check out his video and listen to what he says. It's a video about One Punch Man, and this character there was a lot of people were unhappy about it being racist and but just go listen to what he says, a black man on this topic. So you guys can listen to him. A lot of people say like, I'm not allowed to talk about racism because I'm white. Even though, okay, but I'm not going to get into on that. But if you don't want to listen to me, go listen to his words. He's saying the exact same thing. It's about a different topic, but it comes down to the same thing. If you want to look for shit when there's nothing, you're bored with your life. Like, go fucking tackle some real life issues. Because there's a lot of that. But now you're fucking pulling shit out of, like nothing out of a hat. You're like a fucking magician pulling issues out of a hat where there was nothing. Like those kind of people that call One Punch Man racist because of that character. People that call Attack on Titan Nazi propaganda. People that call me a white supremacist. Go listen to that video and listen what he says. I think those kind of people, like, I don't know, you're bored and you're looking for issues where there are none because you can't tackle real issues in life. It's like, I'm sorry, and now it's just on a different topic, but I'm just gonna quickly mention it. It's like these extremist feminists fighting for feminism in a Western world where we're fucking equal. Like, obviously, sometimes a man will have an advantage, and obviously sometimes a woman will have an advantage. I can tell you now, my channel will, like, if me and a guy starts doing anime, we have the same kind of knowledge on anime, we have like the same kind of whatever, my channel will 80% likely grow faster than his channel because I'm a girl that watches anime and I do my hair and I have makeup. Like, sometimes girls have advantages. Sometimes guys have advantages. It's like, we can't ever be 100% equal. But women will have advantages because sometimes, it's not always. They're obviously, it's just, how do we say, like, it's kind of natural. It's like birds, okay, it's like this. Some birds will fly and fish will swim. It's like saying like, now you're saying, okay, the one who can reach, you're putting like a bird and a fish against each other, and you're saying the one who can reach the top of that mountain the fastest wins. And now the bird flies there, the fish doesn't know how am I gonna fucking climb a mountain? Like, the fish doesn't know how to do that. And now you're saying, like, there's something I'm trying to say. In the Western world, we have mostly equal opportunity, as equal as it's gonna get. So my point is, like, women that are like these extremist feminists, like, stop tackling an issue where there is none. Like, go to the Eastern world, certain parts of the world where women aren't allowed to show their angles. Go there, go help them. They need this kind of extremist feminism, because right now you're fighting where there's no fight to be had. That's all I'm trying to say, and I'm just pointing this out because a lot of people that are calling like Attack on Titan pro-Nazi propaganda or whatever, I think you're fighting where there's a fight doesn't need to be had. But this is my personal opinion on the matter, and just like Heavenly Controller, this guy said at the end of his video, like, you can, if you have a different opinion, if you think I'm wrong on this, by all means, don't jump into a public chat and then start calling me out on white supremacism and and posting videos about links like, that person was like, I don't know, I almost felt like, I want to say attacking me, like, it didn't even give me a chance to reply, just started spewing shit and then saying, I'm gonna say as much as I can now because you're probably gonna delete me to push your narrative. And like, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna delete you, but only because you're like, just give me a chance to give, like, you understand what I'm saying? If you want to talk to me, if you think I'm wrong on this, I know you can't comment on the video, but if you've actually listened this far, I believe that you care enough that you can please DM me on Discord. I am open there. My DMs are open. DM me on Instagram. It'll take me a while to get to those messages though. DM me on Twitter. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. You can explain yourself in a calm way that, like, I've been trying to do. But people that, like, it's really the reason my comments are turned off, I've told you before, is because of spoilers. I just don't want you guys thinking like this is what I think and I'm right. I'm not saying that. I'm just, like I said before, I'm sharing my experience with you, and I want to encourage you guys to talk about it. That's why there's an Attack on Titan chat on my Discord. So by all means, go talk about things. It's difficult because some of this does get very political, and I don't mind political talk. I just want people, how you talk about it is very important. I don't want people, you know, I just be open, you know, if you talk in a more light-hearted sense, because otherwise when you start throwing facts and this is the reality and you start going far right or far left, that's when it's hard to talk then, because you're not talking to discuss, you're talking at someone, like, it's not a discussion, you know. As long as you guys can, if you want to have political discussions, especially about it, like if it touches on Attack on Titan, there is an Attack on Titan chat in the Discord. By all means, please come talk to others. I'm on there very often. Talk to me. If you have something personal that you want to talk to me about, I prefer that you not talk about what I've said and try and say, oh, this is what she's saying, or she's wrong in this case. Like, I would prefer if you'd message me personally then, and just have some patience for me to reply to you, and then we can talk. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying this is what I've learned through my experiences as a person in this world who is a specific color, who comes from a specific place with a specific history. This is my experience, and this is my thoughts. Whew, wow, this is going to take a long time to upload. Thank you guys so much for listening to me. I think this is a brilliant anime, as always. It is my favorite anime. It is my favorite story. I've started reading the manga, as I've mentioned before, but I'm really early. I'm still where am I now? I haven't read in a while. The last thing I remember reading is Armin trying to convince the people that Eren isn't evil. Like, after he turned into a Titan, remember, everyone wanted to kill him because, oh my god, he's a Titan, we don't know what to do, we're scared. And then Pixis came and luckily stopped that guy from basically killing Eren and them. So that's around where I am. As I mentioned before, I will read up until where Season 3 Part 2 ends. I will not be reading further than that. Okay, thank you guys once again for listening to me. I'll see you next week for the final episode. Bye!